All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still do pray you and your family are super blessed. On this beautiful day, we are going to be getting into some deep analysis today, guys. I'm going to be giving you my complete price prediction for Q1 2024. The possible scenarios, how I am currently trading this, how I plan to trade this. And as usual, guys, if we can get 1,000 likes during the first 30 minutes of the stream, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. It's very important that you like the video. It's very important that you subscribe to the channel, guys, because this move to the downside, we have given it for free for weeks leading up to the drop. And we are very close to 200,000 subscribers. All right, we are only 91,000 subscribers away. That's a very small number. We gave the short setup. We gave the long setup also from the last major low in advance in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Shout out to the Casper Crew. Guys, if you want to trade Bitcoin and altcoins along with me, my three exchanges are BingX, ZoomX, and MEXC. Links in the description. Also, if you want to join the community where we give the trade setups like the short trade, took this one live during the New York Open live stream last week. You can go to jasoncaspertrading.com, click the link to join the best trading community in the world with an entire beginner's course in there, plus a thriving community. We also have educational content on the website at jasoncaspertrading.com if you want to learn about order flow, if you want to learn about White Phoenix's smart money approach to trading, or a comprehensive trading course. Man, we got it all. Whatever tickles your fancy, well, we got that fancy tickler just for you. All right, y'all, who we got in the chat today? Shout out to Reg. He says, oi, 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 Casper in the house. Sounds like some old school punk stuff going on, my man. Shout out to Nick Butterfly. Shout out to Real Estate Jenny. Shout out to Will M. Hall from the Netherlands. What is going on? Pyth is pumping right now. Shout out to Dafish. Shout out to Reg again. Big money, big money. Shout out to Aaron G. Holding it down with a wrench. Aaron G. Hopefully we'll be having him on the channel soon to get into some of those juicy charts that he's trading over there on Twitter. Shout out to Jason, a new Casper Crew member. Shout out to Rakesh. Shout out to Martin Yeti. Shout out to X Sir and Ian. Shout out to Goldie Crypto. Nicholas, what is going on? Shout out to Zach. You are the best, Zach. You are the best. Shout out to Jintaras. Says, Jesus love you. Jesus bless you, my friend. Shout out to Crypto Crank. Crypto Crank, I missed your super chat in the last stream. Please forgive me, my friend. Please forgive me. What day do I go on to? I go on Saturday. Okay, I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist. Just so you know. Shout out to Basketballs. How do you make burgers with food from your homestead? Do you just make fried chicken burger? I've never made my own burgers from chicken, I'll be honest with you. All right. Where do we expect price to go? We're going to get into it, guys. We are going to get into it. We're going to start locally, and we're going to move our way into the more macro, because we are at a very important place as far as just the market cycle in general. I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and a lot of people are going to make a lot of money in the next few months, so it's going to be a good time. Shout out to Golden Bodybuilding. Do I know about Power Ledger? I can't say I do. Shout out to the Dusty Hunt. Cannot break 43K. Shout out to Badu. Bado, how do I see the chart now? We'll get into it. Yeah, shout out to Aaron G. Shout out to Keith Jeffs and DV. He says, pump it up, baby. The Fish. When's Papa Casper going to be on the channel? Maybe sometime, all right? Maybe sometime. Alrighty. As usual, guys, we have 25 minutes to get 1,000 likes. You know, it's a Sunday. We might not have that many people up in here, but you know, we'll see what we can do. Make sure to like the stream. Shout out to Joe Potter. Shout out to Dippy J. What is going on? And shout out to Bullish on Parade. Need 32K to complete the chart. We're going to talk about that possibility, my friend. Shout out to Dali Crypto. Shout out to Pixo. Yeah, we're in a schlong. MEXC fee is so cheap. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. That is actually the reason I trade on MEXC. That is the reason I trade on MEXC. Plus, they do not require KYC. Shout out to Hiron. He says, flex those biceps. I can't flex them, my friend, because they're pure synthol. So, you know, you'll never see me doing a front double bicep. It'll give away the fact that that's just pure synthol in there. Shout out to Crypto Fever, like smashed. Shout out to your average crypto bro. Shout me out, please, bro. Shout out to you. You're the man. You are the man. Buy Bitcoin and eat organic. Also, grow your own food. Can I freestyle? We'll see how the stream goes. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how the stream goes. What do I think? Can we take the high again? We're going to get into the scenarios, because the good thing about this chart, guys, is that there is lots of... there are very clear criterion that we have to determine how we are going to develop our macro analysis. But we're going to be talking about the possibilities here, because, again, history is repeating itself right now with this one. History is absolutely repeating itself. All right, shout out to Vado again, doing cardio and trading. That's the way to do it. Bullseye, Casper, the best trader on the tube. Nah, I'm not. Shout out to Rem Sleeper. You've seen more volatility on USDT. That's interesting and a little bit concerning. Are we rich yet? Rich is just it's a mentality, my friend. Honestly. I know, right? Those synthol folks are funny. Isn't this a bear flag? Yes, it is, Louis Pierre. I mean, if we're going to get technical, and we are all about technical analysis. Shout out to Steve Arnold. He says, Shalom. Well, Shalom Lecha, Steve. Everyone is bearish. We will move up. All right. Man, we got 700 people in here, guys. Let's get the likes up to 700. If we can get the likes up to 700 in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. All right. Shout out to, shout out to Chip Chocolate. Actually, you know what's funny? Chip Chocolate probably is one of the best traders to ever live. Definitely a better trader than me. Shout out to you, Chip Chocolate. But see, here's the thing. The best traders don't have YouTube channels. Chip Chocolate, do you have a YouTube channel? Because if you do, I should subscribe you. I should subscribe to you. Shout out to Bellsprout. Is it unethical to pray for certain price action? Nah, I don't think so. Shout out to Radar Apologetics in the house. Yo, what's going on, Radar Apologetics? If anybody's into apologetics, check out Radar Apologetics. Shout out to Freedom Man. Shout out to Ken S. And Z Dubs and Crypto Poyo. All right. Any thoughts on the BRC20 tokens? They're probably gonna. My only thought on that, Real Estate Jenny, is that they will be very pumpastic. All right, I haven't done deep diving into the fundamentals, but they're probably going to be super bullish in the next year or so. All right, shout out to Vrabel Patrick and Mansoor Faruqi. All right, nah, Kamikaze, you didn't miss a dang thing. All right, shout out to Alonzo. All right, turned down $1,000 of Bitcoin yesterday on the Radar Apologetic live stream because he was too scared to come out and debate his position. All right, let's get right into this TA, guys. Let's get right into it. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is, where are we historically? Where are we historically right now? Because I've been kind of alluding to this during the past few streams here, but I think it's a good time just to review where we are at, okay? So I have here a chart, and on this chart, I have what is currently happening with Bitcoin, all right? The white line right here, this white vertical line represents the Bitcoin halving happening around the end of April 2024. We have currently rejected from the macro Fibonacci golden pocket retest from the all-time high of the bull market to the low of the bear market. All right, this is the trade setup we gave in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. This is the target of the long trade that I took publicly on YouTube on December 27th when I put $500,000 long on Bitcoin and maintained my bullish bias throughout all that time amongst a lot of hecklers. And I have to say, it's hard, guys. It's hard to trade when you got people giving their opinions, because as much as I like to think I'm not affected by other people's opinions, it's hard not to be swayed, right? I maintain my bullishness, and I do have to say this. Although the chart is not bearish yet, we have our first local sign of bearishness, which could turn into a major pre-halving correction. Now, what do we have here? We have ourselves a base, all right? This is the base that Bitcoin formed at the top of the last bull market. We lost the base. Then we pumped back up inside of the base, and we are rejecting from the golden pocket with the halving pretty dang close to where we are right now. So let's see what has happened previous cycles, okay? The cycle before this one. What happened? We have ourselves the bull market base, all right? We formed this base going all the way back to November 2017, before the big blow off top. We come down, we hold this level once, twice, 3, 4 times, we lose the level. Then we pump up above it, and we reject from the Fibonacci golden pocket, right? And then we basically come back down to retest our base before the halving, and then bam, off to the stratosphere, off to the bull market, okay? Let's see what has happened the time before that, okay? We have ourselves the bull market base that formed right here, okay? Thursday, the 12th, the 12th of December 2013. Wow, this is a long time ago. We formed this key zone support resistance flip resistance. We lost it. We reclaim it. We pump up right into the Fibonacci golden pocket. And then right before the halving, what do we get? We get a 41% move to the downside before the big pump. All right. Now, the time before that, what do we have? Now, remember, we're going way back to Bitcoin's early beginnings. What do we have? We have the base. Resistance flipped into support, lost. Then what do? We come back up. We pump up to not the 618 this time, but the 0.5 fib. And then we wick back down to test our base before the halving, and boom, into the bull market. And it doesn't look like much here, but that was actually from the high to the low, about a 50% move to the downside, okay? Now, I've been alluding to this for a long time as we've been coming up to the golden pocket about how this is the pattern that Bitcoin likes to do, but I'm showing you guys this because this, I mean, that's where we're at right now, okay? Am I saying we're gonna come back down to test our $30,000 base? Of course, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that what's happening right now has happened 3 times in the past, and all 3 times we did come down to test the base, okay? Now, one thing I would like to point out here about the testing of the base is that the base is such a cool instrument. I wish I could play it, all right? I wish I could slap on the bass, all right? I dabble. My brother's a real good bass player. I'm more of a guitar player. But when it comes to the bass, that price is forming here. What is so important about the base is that, historically speaking, the base has been the place for the face melting pump that is inevitably going to come after we retest that base. Okay, so if we do get a pullback to 30K, rest assured it's going to be the most bullish pullback we could hope for, because we are then going to enter into the bull market and Bitcoin is going to make a new all-time high. So if anybody is not in Bitcoin, or if anybody has dry powder on the sidelines, in my opinion, anything that happens in this zone, all right, basically between now and July, is the time to be accumulating Bitcoin, because no matter what happens here, let's say we don't get a pullback. Let's just say we trade sideways a little bit, right? And we come up a little bit and we come down a little bit. Or whatever happens here, we know that once that halving kicks off, Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, right? So in my opinion, this is the last opportunity to be accumulating Bitcoin. After that, if you're buying Bitcoin after that, I don't know. I mean, may the Lord have mercy on your portfolio, right? Because you never know. Once we enter into that pump time, every time you buy the dip, man, You might be buying the last dip that keeps on dipping. All right. So this is the macro right here. And I do have to say this, as we come up to these key zones, right? As we come up to these key zones, we are seeing right now our first concerning sign, which is this. We have hit into the Fibonacci golden pocket. Okay. Does the chart look any more bearish than it did, let's say, right here? The answer is no. Okay. But if you guys remember what happened here, I actually did not short this, and I did long this. And I longed this and was feeling extremely bullish about it because I said the chart is printing a hidden bullish divergence on the daily momentum wave below the 0 line as the price is making a higher low. We are seeing the oscillator make a lower low, right? We're seeing this happen here. And so I said it's more probable than not that we're not going to top out below very key resistance. We're probably going to hit those key resistances. Okay, now we've hit the key resistance. And we are also seeing the chart printing the scary upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boot pattern, where as the price is getting higher into a key resistance, the momentum waves and the money flow are getting lower. Okay, the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man breast pattern. For some reason, and we don't know why, but Sam Bankman-Fried has crooked nipples. Okay, it's probably something in the water or something, I don't know. But we can see here this lines up very perfectly, and this is something that we have been warning about, on this channel now for a very long time. In fact, I just watched a video that I made 1 year ago when Bitcoin changed market structure on the weekly, and I flipped bullish, calling for a $30,000 Bitcoin way back in January 2023. And this was one of the targets that we had, saying, look, if we come back above 30K, I'm saying I'm shooting for 30K, but if we come above 30K, the chances are high that we're going to see a $48,000 to $50,000 Bitcoin, because that is the Fibonacci golden pocket, right? But again, we've been waiting for this to happen, which is why you need to subscribe to the channel. Not only are we very close to 200,000 subscribers, as you can see, but, last week and the last week of December, we were warning about coming up to the Fibonacci golden pocket with the bearish divergence on Mark Cipher B. We're kind of seeing it form for that potential rejection. Okay, so that is currently what is happening right now. And the question is, are we going to get a bigger pullback? Well, here's how I see it. Although the signs are here for a potential pullback, we have to also understand that market structure has not flipped bearish yet. All right, what do I mean by that? We have not yet made a lower low on the daily time frame. In order for this chart to actually begin to look bearish to me, we're going to have to take out 40K, because we have been in a very strong uptrend since September 11th, 2023, and we have pumped up like crazy. And if we lose 40K, if we put in a lower low than 40K, this will be the first time that we have actually made a lower low on the daily time frame. Okay, so if we're going to see 30K, we need to now put in a lower low on the daily. This is step number one. I will not get overly bearish here until we lose 40K, because until we lose 40K, the market structure is still bullish, and market structure is king. Okay, when you were in a very strong uptrend, this is not the first upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boot pattern we have printed here. We've been printing them the whole way up, right? We printed one right here. We printed one right here. This is honestly the most damning looking one. All right. This one looks intense, right? This is the most intense one we printed for sure. But market structure right now is king. So yes, I'm still holding the short trade right now, but unless we lose 40K, I'm not banking on that short trade to play out to the final targets that I had for it. And I do want to make it clear that because I understand where we're at in the cycle, I have some pretty low ball take profits on this short trade. All right, I have a TP set at 38K, 32K, and 26K, because I understand, and lower actually. Okay, I'm not saying we're gonna hit those targets, but look, if this is a high and we're going to get a major correction, I'm going to milk that trade for everything I can, all right? And if I'm asleep one night and we get some kind of black swan capitulation, I want to have limit orders set. So, until we lose 40K, I'm still thinking that more upside is definitely possible here. Now, what level do I need to see reclaimed before I close my short trade? For me, it's very, very simple. We have ourselves, let's go to a different chart here. We have ourselves a very important area of resistance right now. I'd say, yeah, an extremely important area of resistance, which is this. If we look at all the volume that we have traded since the last bull market, going back to December 31st, New Year's Eve 2020, we can see that the highest volume node is coming in right around here at about $47,300. All right. That when we look at this on the daily chart, understanding what has happened here, understanding that we have knocked into the Fibonacci golden pocket, right? And remember, the Fibonacci golden pocket, the 618 level, that is my high school crush, 6Juanita. Of course she rejected us. She rejected me when I asked her out because although I thought she liked me, I was in something called the friend zone, which is where she does like you, but not like that, okay? She likes you kind of like a brother. Now, of course, this is very heartbreaking. We can see here, this is my emotions graphed out on a chart. Big purple candle to the downside, bear flag, and then another big move to the downside. Does this look familiar? That's literally exactly what has happened so far, right? The rejection just as tough, right? Huge rejection, bear flag, another big rejection. Oof! The emotions are running wild, okay? And of course, why did she reject us? Because she wasn't into nice men like Jason Casper. She was into bad guys like this Sam Bankman-Fried. And what do you know? Good old Sam Bankman-Fried, right over there with his crooked man boobs. Perfect scenario. I mean, this really, yes, I've made $35,000 on the short trade so far. Realized and unrealized, of course. But combined with the long and the short, I'm up 30K. So I can't be mad. But right, look, it's still heartbreaking to me to relive these memories. And I hope she's jealous because now her boyfriend is in prison. And she could have had your boy Jay Casper over here. She could have had me and my treadmill walking, stinky armpit, not showering, addicted to trading. She could have had that, all right? Now, here's the thing. That $47,300 level now is going to be extremely key resistance. And I would say even before we get to 47.3. 47.3, I'm going to say we're definitely going for a new high. 47.3, I'd say we're definitely going to go for a new high. But before we get there, if we pull the fib from the high to the low, we can see that we are coming up to that $46,000, the local 618 level. Okay, the local 618 level. Because do we remember what happened last cycle? All right, let's take a look at what happened last cycle here. When we got the rejection last time, like last market cycle, we got the rejection from the 618, right? From 6Juanita. And then look at this. From the high to the low, we reject the second time from the local 6Juanita. So we need to be prepared for the local 6Juanita here as well. Okay, because if we get the cojones, the girthiness of the loins, the fortitude within the lower body, within the reins, to ask out 6Juanita again, we need to be prepared for something like this, because this is the high volume node here of all this stuff that we traded. Okay, so the first major sign of strength right now is going to be a reclaim of 46K. If we can't reclaim 46K, we're probably going to be coming lower here. If we reclaim 46K, 47.3, that is the place where I will say, you know what? I won't close out the short. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not going to close out this short no matter what. But this is the place where if I was the kind of guy to close out a short from the macro golden pocket of an entire market cycle, this is where I would do it upon a reclaim. I will say this. I will expect my short trade to absolutely get stopped out if we reclaim 47.3. Okay? Absolutely get stopped out if we reclaim 47.3. Something else we need to keep in mind here, guys, is this. We have come down actually to a pretty important area of support. Because on Friday, when I was doing my live stream, and I was talking about the places that I would look to long, I did not long here because I was not at the computer. But remember where we were looking. We were looking at the fib pull from the low to the high, and we were kind of at the golden pocket during the live stream on Friday, but we were saying the 786 around 42K, that is going to be the place to be looking for a bounce. I've said if we hold 42K, that actually could be a nice bottom, right? And actually, we did get a little bit of a bounce from 42K. And again, this is still bullish market structure. So there is a chance that we are just doing what we did over here, doing what we did over here, doing what we did over here, making a higher low, and then getting another move to the upside, right? So 46K is our level to the upside that we need to be aware of. And 40K is the level to the downside that we need to be aware of. Because once we lose 40K, we can say lower low on the daily time frame, probabilities say we are coming lower. Okay, so if we do come lower, where are we probably gonna go? Well, I'd say this. It makes sense that we first hit 38K, which is the last area of support that we have before we got that last big pump up, right? 38K is this last little area where it was resistance from November, the beginning of November until the beginning of December. And then it just makes the most sense, according to the market cycle history, that we come back down to retest our base. And our base is this, guys. All right? This is our base right here. Scary stuff, but not really, because if you showed anybody that didn't know a dang thing about markets and you showed them this green box, right? And you asked them, what do you think will happen when the price comes back down to this green box? They're going to say, oh, it's probably going to bounce, right? Why would they say that? Because this green box historically has been a place where literally for 3 years now, since the beginning of 2020, 3 complete years, this green box has been the place where Bitcoin pivots, all right? So now add on to that, we're heading into a bull market. It becomes a much, much juicier level. And if we pull a fib from low to high, you know, golden pocket just below around 26K. This is actually why, guys, I do have some low ball take profits on some of my, on my short trade, okay? But if we take the golden pocket from 20K to the high, it's happening right in the middle of this green box. If we take it from our last low to the high, it's happening right at the top of our green box. So there's a few different ways we could pull the fib here, right? Either way, that green box is going to be our box of importance. So 46K to the upside, 40K to the downside. We lose 40K. The chances that we test our base, the chances that what's happening now is a repeat of what we have seen happen literally every other market cycle becomes much more possible, right? Much more probable. Lose 40K, 30K becomes pretty probable. And that's exactly how I am planning to trade this right now. So yeah, I'm still holding trades from lower, right? I'm still holding long trades from around 36K. So I'm going to be watching what happens here, because if we do start to hold this as a higher low, I'm going to be adding to those trades, shooting for another high. And where am I going to be shooting for? I'm going to be shooting for around $50,000, because that's the 0.65 fib. And also, if we just take a look at this chart, let's go to a higher term time frame here. This chart here, we've got ourselves our next major area of resistance, which is basically this weekly order block. And if we go to the daily level, we've got this high. Did we already hit? Yeah, we hit that high right there. Yeah, so our next area of resistance right now is basically the 0.65 Fibonacci and that weekly order block. So if we make another high, I'm going to be looking for a rejection from around this green box, because that is our next major area of resistance right in here. I mean, we could technically go higher. We've got a resistance at 52K, but because we have to look at this and understand that this golden pocket is just that. It's a zone, right? And so I've been looking at this and saying, look, we're seeing bearish signs here. If we get another big pump up, be watching for continued bearish divergences, because in hindsight, we would say to ourselves, if this exact scenario happens, let's say we get another high, people are going to be getting overly bullish, right? All the people, because there's two opinions out there. There's the people who say, yeah, I'm going to buy the ETF is going to be so bullish. You short the news, people, you're wrong, all right? Then the other side are like, no, we're going to short the news, right? So we get another pump. The bullish people are like, aha, I was right and you were wrong, right? Then we get the rejection from that high, and then we start to pump again. Everyone gets super dang bullish, right? But then it's just a good old-fashioned head and shoulders at the golden pocket. And if we looked at this in hindsight, we would say, how much more obvious could you ask for than a head and shoulders at the macro golden pocket, right? But it's hard because the emotions run high and people don't zoom out, where we are, degen day traders scalping the 1 second time frame here. It's hard to zoom out. But these are the times when zooming out is very, very, very important. All right. So those are the scenarios I'm looking at right now. And yes, I still remain more bearish right now than I do bullish in the first quarter of 2024. And the reason I do is because of the historic data of the chart, which every single time for the last 1, 2, 3 Bitcoin cycles, we have topped out before the halving at that key fib, except the very first time was the 0.5 instead of the 0.618. We've come down to test our base before the halving, and then we get the big pump, right? So that's why I'm going to stick to my bias. I'm going based off historical data, and if I'm wrong about it, well, what can I say? I hold a lot of Bitcoin on spot, and I would be disappointed if I was wrong, because I do want another opportunity to buy some cheap Bitcoin. Okay, I do. Let's see who we got in the chat right now. Wow, 1,300 people, 500 likes. Does a man's heart bad. Man, bad for the self-esteem. Reminds me of the time I got wrecked by 6 Juanita. All right. Let's see here. Let's see who we got in the chat. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Shout out to Michael Lonecar. He says, what's your personal prediction of the lowest price that Bitcoin will see in the next few months? Well, here's the thing. 10K. 10K. Sound crazy? Maybe. Why do I say? The reason I say is because it's my opinion, and I almost made a video about this today, but it is my opinion that we are going to see a black swan event happen. Okay, why do I say that? Jason, you can't predict a black swan. You're right, but here's the thing. We are seeing mainstream media outlets talk about, oh, I think there could be a black swan. I've seen this on 3 or 4 different mainstream media outlets where they're saying, you know what, we could see a black swan. Jim Cramer is bullish on the US economy right now, extremely bullish on the US economy. All right. Mainstream media outlets are saying, I think there could be a black swan. What does that mean? It means probably something's going to go down. It's an election year, just like it was in 2020. And we have wars going on all over the place. It seems like the geopolitical situation is out of control. And it seems like things are ripe for something unexpected, which is definitely expected, but unexpected to us, to happen. And if that does happen, what better time for it to happen than right now, after Bitcoin has rejected from major resistance, And if we remember what happened back in 2020, we did retest our base. But because of the swan, we retested our base, and then we actually came down another 40% from that base. Okay? So I would not be surprised if we see Bitcoin hit 10K, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it would be a very fast wick and a buyback, because that's how Black Swan events work. Black Swan events, they wreck the majority, but people who are ready to buy the fear, that's where money is made, right? That's where money is made. People who bought stocks, people who bought crypto, people who bought oil, sheesh. People who bought the fear in 2020 became extremely wealthy if they were ready to buy, right? And here's the thing, we did not hit any kind of area of support on the way down, which was very strange, right? It was a little bit strange. Like the bear market last time, where did we come down to? We came down to these lows, right? We had this support right here. We came down to that support, right? Even the market before that, what happened? Well, we had this area of support right here, these previous highs. We came right down to those. But this time, we didn't really test anything. I was waiting for lower down here. I longed it, and I said we're going to come up to $18,300 and get a rejection. We did come up to $18,300. We did get a rejection, but then we made a higher low and continued in bullish market structure. This right here, January 2023, is when I started to become extremely bullish. We've changed market structure on the weekly. Screw the supports below us. We changed market structure. Market structure is king. Bullish from that point onward, right? On the weekly time frame. But would it surprise you guys if we came back down to retest the actual support like we did all the other times, right around that $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 zone? That would not surprise me. And I know that sounds crazy, and it is crazy, but if there is some kind of a swan that is black event, right? Man, if we start to, can you imagine what would happen if we lost $15,000? The fear and the panic selling, that could easily give us a capitulation wick down to 10K. So easily, because people are convinced we're never going to see a $20,000 Bitcoin again. People are convinced we might not even see a $30,000 Bitcoin again. So all the new people, ETF buying, pump, you know, and all the people also who are waiting for 30K to buy, including myself. I mean, can you imagine the fear? And this, obviously, is time. You better be buying Bitcoin. If you think there's any future left of the world after that Black Swan event, that's the time to be buying some dang Bitcoin, all right? Is that likely? Who knows? Anything's possible. But we are seeing also the S&P 500 hitting new all-time highs. Jim Cramer's never been more bullish on the U.S. economy. All right, look at this. S&P 500 hitting all-time highs. You know, I do have to say, also with the S&P 500, I was expecting that we would come a little bit lower here. I forget exactly why. But yeah, double top on the S&P. Right? Double bottom on the S&P. Then things can maybe get a little bit bullish again. We see the same thing happen on Bitcoin, right? Who knows? That's the lowest I think Bitcoin could possibly go. And if you think I'm crazy and it makes you angry, then whatever, man. Shout out to Francis Dune, uncensored. Oh, shout out to Francis Dune. Wow, bro. That really means a lot coming from you. He says, I don't mess with TA, but when I do, I watch Jason Casper because he does best. Shout out to Francis Dune Uncensored. Guys, go subscribe to Francis Dune Uncensored if you have not. Not only does he have 3 cameras to make for some fire camera angles during his live streams, but he absolutely brings the alpha. I love his mentality. I love his mindset when it comes to crypto and just life in general, honestly. And he will provide you information that could make you a lot of money during this next bull market. Information that I just don't even know. I don't even know. That's why I watch him, because I'm a TA guy. I'm a trader. Go check him out, seriously. Francis Dune Uncensored. Shout out to you, bro. Here's his channel right here in the super chats. Go check it out. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Let's see. Where are we at now with Bitcoin? Oh yeah, we were on the ES. Yeah, so I know it sounds crazy to hit those levels, but we cannot take it off the table, right? We cannot take it off the table. All right, who else we got in here? Shout out to Car Snob. He says, check the chart. Why, what's going on? Bitcoin's still doing basically nada. Yeah, I would love a 10K Bitcoin. Yeah, me too, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people are expecting 30K. Will Coinbase crash if we dump that low? Probably. Probably. So here's what you need to do. I mean, not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor, right? Just a guy on the YouTube on a treadmill, got a plunger on the face, all right? But because it's not financial advice, I got to put on my non-financial advisor costume here. What I do is I set limit orders on Coinbase. So if we wick down there, they get filled automatically. Okay? So you don't have to worry about it, right? But yeah, that means you got to keep money on an exchange, which is risky. But everything's risky, all right? Everything's risky. Everything's risky. How was my yard walk? That wasn't my yard. I was on the road that day. You know, I did the live stream in the morning, okay? Casper Crew live stream, took the short, and then Friday, I was out on the road, so I had to pull over and make a video on the side of the road, all right? All right, Chip Chocolate says, let's see what Chip Chocolate says. He says, yo, shout out to all ES traders. Best asset to trade. I highly recommend all new traders start in the ES. So much volatility, you could easily find a minimum of 3 trades a day on a bad day. Practice on demo. Yeah, the ES is nice to trade. I've been trading it on BingX. I haven't traded it in a while, though. So, I'm a crypto guy. Shout out to Kirk Meyer. He says, Google smartphones will ship with Solana from the factory in June. Tell us about the Pyth network. The only Solana oracle rising today. Look, I don't know about it. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know anything about the fundamentals of it. But I would say this. Obviously, Solana and Pyth, or Pith, they're going to be, all right, they're going to be bullish in the bull market. Okay, they are. Pyth is going to be bullish in the bull market. It's going to pump. All right, so it's so I mean, so here's the thing also, like, again, this is not financial advice, remember? Okay, these are the times where in the market cycle you can DCA into things and you can buy the dips and you will most likely make money, because all the things are right now stacked in the favor of, we're heading into a year or 2 years of bullishness before the next bear market, right? So right now are the times where you could kind of be an idiot and make money. This is how I got into Bitcoin. I was an idiot. I bought Bitcoin. I put my whole life savings into Bitcoin when it was $600. Had no idea what I was doing. Listened to a podcast. Someone said, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I told my wife, Big Butts 28, we got to put we've been saving for a house. It's been 5 years we've been saving. We've been working, we've been saving. Let's take that. Well, it was like 40K. Let's buy Bitcoin. And we did, okay? And I sold it. Not all of it. But I sold most of it at 10K and 16K. And, you know, how did I get out in time? It's because I had a very specific goal. And when I hit that goal, I said I am out, because it just didn't make sense to me that something could go from $600 to $16,000 in a year. That was like, this is if I don't take this out, I'm absolutely retarded. And I know you shouldn't say retarded anymore, but whatever. All right. We used to say that back in the day. All right. We don't mean any offense to anybody who's actually retarded. And everyone knows that. And if you don't know that, you're retarded. All right. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. It used to be okay to say back in the day when I was growing up, we'd call people retarded. Everyone knew we weren't making fun of retarded people. Right? So look. Now are the times to be, getting into some assets. All right. Shout out to Francis Dune. Bro, I appreciate you, man. I really do. Do I hold more than 5 figures? Are you talking about on an exchange? Never on an exchange do I hold more than 5 figures. That's not true, actually. That's not true. I'll never hold more than 6 figures. Let's put it that way. I'll never hold more than low 6 figures on an exchange, and only for short periods of time if you have to. Like, that's the thing, right? Only if you gotta. All right. Do I have any pigs? I don't have any pigs. All right. I only have chickens right now. I wanted to get goats in 2023. I decided, you know what? I just wasn't ready to take that step yet. Like, it's a big responsibility. But I'm building the infrastructure for the goats. I am building the infrastructure. I don't eat pigs. So, besides, like, clearing property and garbage disposal, I have no need for them, Alright, so Ranvijay Singh says, all my analysis is good, but my trade always hits a stop loss. I jump in early. What do I do? Okay, so there's 2 things you could do. You could either wait for your stop loss. Wait a second. Either wait for your level to hit, right? If you're front running, wait for the level, or use a smaller position size with a wider stop loss, right? So if, let's say, just as an example, right, that this is your long setup here, right? And you think we're coming up from here, right? Well, you're gonna have to use that wide stop loss, right? Up to your next resistance, which is gonna be 46K. So this, a 2-to-1 risk reward, yeah, I mean, it's not the best setup in the world, but you might have to do that, right? You have to make sure that your trade has enough breathing room for that stop loss. If you are that probably means you're using too big of a position size and too tight of a stop loss, right? Which is okay to do sometimes. But look, that loss I took on Friday, it was because I did that, right? And honestly, I would have taken that loss regardless, because what did I long from on Friday? I longed the golden pocket, and I took that loss. Let's see here. Yeah. I longed from... Oh, it doesn't tell me the price I longed from. Okay. I'm not logged into this account right now, so I can't see. But look, risk management is key, right? Took the loss, lost 1% on the day, was still up 13% on the week last week. Cannot be upset about that, All right. Shout out to Benjamin Asbury. It is getting cold. Shout out to DAFT Tangent 6969. The Pharisees just wanted to eat all the pigs for themselves. They wanted to eat pigs and shrimp. I mean, okay. I don't think they wanted that. Shout out to everybody who liked the dang stream. Shout out to 12 Big Doll. He says, Jesus ate bacon. Well, if he did, then he can't be the Messiah. Isn't that crazy? But hey, it just is what it is. When are we going to bounce? Well, I don't know. Like, we could get a bounce from here, right? We're starting to see the basic strategy play out. Money flow coming up. We might start to squeeze up from here. We had a very fast move down. We left behind some single prints here, so we could, especially if we come above this last area of resistance here. I mean, we've got a pretty clear, we do have a pretty clear level here, right? Yeah, this high volume node right around 43,950. If we reclaim this, we'll probably come up to 46. I could easily see us doing that because of all the single prints we left behind here. But so far, we also have not yet like hit value area low of the more macro range. So I personally haven't taken any longs from here yet. I would like to see us at least come down to, if we're going to get another move down, at least take the low that we made Friday night into the value area low of the range. That's where I would kind of look for my next long. But really, guys, I'd say losing 40K is where I'm really interested in looking for longs from, right? From the low of the, because this is obviously the low of the range. You know what I'm saying? This is obviously the low of the range. Shout out to Michael, he says 30K. What am I thinking about Ethereum with the narrative? Everyone's moving for the ETF next. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know. I think the Bitcoin narrative is the narrative we need to be aware of. All right, Bitcoin is actually taking out now an important low. Let's check this out. Let's see here, because we do want to be looking for this too, right? The liquidity grab of these lows. And, you know, it's a weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. Tomorrow, New York's not trading, so we could just come down here, get a move back up to the top of the range, get a move back down, and just start to trade this range here, guys. Right? So be aware of losing this low, because we are forming some bullish divergences here for like a scalp trade, like a day trade kind of deal. Shout out to Skylar for the super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see if we have any other super chats up in here. Thank you so much, Skylar, for the super chat. God bless you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. The Federal Reserve is headed by lizard people. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't know. Why isn't New York trading tomorrow? It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is a federal holiday, so New York is closed on that day. It's a 3-day weekend. Alrighty. Alright, guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. I'm reading through the chats here to see if we got any people. Shout out to Aaron G. He's looking for a sweep of those equal lows. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. For like a scalp trade. That's the only place I'm kind of interested in longing locally. Let's see who else we got in here. Shout out to Lucky Jimbo. I don't really know what I'm thinking with Ethereum as far as that. Shout out to Trippy Gypsy, and shout out to Sam Price. Shout out to Bakir. Yo, yo, yo. Do I still play the guitar? You know, not the electric guitar anymore. I used to be pretty good, honestly. But hey, you don't use it, you lose it, you know? I still play acoustic guitar. Funny how they kill them first and then give everyone off. Well, that's how the government is, you know? That's how the government is. Yeah. They always do things and then like make these like, you know, twist the knife a little bit, but only to the people who know. To the people who don't know, it seems like they're being very virtuous, you know? It's crazy, it's twisted, it's twisted. Shout out to Del S. Peasy. And shout out to Pike379. How many miles do I walk a day? I usually walk about 20,000 steps a day. How do you hold your trade so long with high leverage and don't get emotional? Tip Trippy. Well, here's the thing. I just made a video, and I'm gonna make another video about leverage. And show you guys how leverage, it really just doesn't even matter. My trades are high leverage, but it doesn't matter, because I don't know how else to say it than the way I've already said it, but high leverage is only riskier than low leverage if you're a gambler and not a trader, okay? Because let's say for example, all right, here's a good example. I'll show you guys a real example here. All right, let's see. Let me show you guys something. All right, let me show you guys something. I am going to, right now, take a trade on 1x leverage. All right, I'm gonna take a trade on 1x leverage. All right, here we go. We're gonna mark it in a trade, 1x leverage. Put $100 on the trade. Okay, here we go. We're long, $100, baby. Now, let's say that my trading plan is this. All right, my trading plan is this. I'm long from here. All right, my target is the highs. My stop loss is below the low. Okay, a 0.39% stop loss. This is my trading plan for the day. Okay, guess what? I'm gonna put my stop loss in 42,533. All right, 42,533. 42,533. When that trade gets stopped out, I will lose 39 cents. Okay, 39 cents when the trade gets stopped out. Okay, now we're dumping. Okay, but let's close out the trade, and now let's do the same exact trade at 100x leverage. All right, this is extreme. I would never actually trade with 100x leverage, but I'm just showing you guys something. $100. All right, open the trade. Now my stop loss for my trading idea, same place, 42,533. All right, 42,533. 42,533. Okay, now it's not going to show me this because the leverage is too high. All right, but it would be 39-cent loss. All right, why would it still be a 39-cent loss? Because 0.39% of 100 is 39 cents. Okay, so because you didn't actually see that, let's lower the leverage now to 30x, just to illustrate the point that if I enter a trade right now with $100 on 39x leverage, and I put my stop loss here, come on, you pop up. I put my stop loss here at 42,533. I'm still losing literally the same amount of money. This time it says 41 cents because price moved a little bit. Okay, I have just entered a 1x leverage trade, a 100x leverage trade, and a 39 leverage X trade. This is my trading setup, a 2.4 to 1 risk reward ratio. It did not change how much money I lose when I get stopped out. What does this mean? This means that every trade you take, your loss should never be determined by your leverage. It's determined by your stop loss and your position size. Your position size should not get bigger or smaller depending on your leverage. If you are risking 1% of your stack per trade, that means regardless of what leverage you're using, the amount of dollars you put on that trade needs to make it so that when that trade gets stopped out, you lose 1% of your stack. It doesn't matter what leverage you're using. The only reason you would avoid high leverage is if you're a swing trader, and a 0.39% stop loss is ridiculous. Okay, if you're trading the daily time frame, you're probably going to be using 3x because you need to have potentially a 7-8% stop loss. And if you're using high leverage, you will get liquidated. But if you're a day trader, right, you can use high leverage because look at this trade. The invalidation of the trade is a 0.39% move, right? What does that mean? That means even if I'm using 100x leverage, I will not get liquidated before that stop loss is hit. Price would have to come down this far, about 0.75% before I risk liquidation, okay? So what does this mean? This means I'm totally safe using 100x leverage right now on this trade. Totally safe. There's zero risk of me getting liquidated. And even if I did get liquidated, I would be losing such a small amount of capital because of my entire account. And I just withdrew all the money from this account, so I only have like $2,000 left in it. But, you know, worst case scenario right now, even if I do get liquidated, I have literally $2.5 on the trade, right? So I should be losing 39 cents on this trade. But if it worst case and I get liquidated, I'm losing $2.56, right? And so this is why leverage doesn't matter. If you know how to trade and you understand where you're wrong on your idea, then it literally doesn't matter what the leverage is as long as your liquidation is not before your stop loss, right? If your liquidation is here, let's say, and your stop loss is supposed to be here, that means you need to use lower leverage. As long as your liquidation is below your stop loss, it does not matter because you are making and losing the same amount of money. Where people get it wrong is instead of using $100 on their trade, they're taking their $100, 10x leveraging, 39x leveraging, and just cranking the whole dang thing on, right? That's gambling. That's not trading. Trading, you need to have risk management, right? So that is why I do not care about what leverage I'm using, because even when I took this short trade, 25x leverage, all right? 25x. That means, guys, the price would have had to go against me almost 4% before I had to even worry about liquidation. 4%. What does that mean? Let's look at that. All right. Price would have had to come up to 50,400. Now, I took this trade from a rejection of the 618. All right. Now, when I took the trade from the rejection of the 618, which is right here, I told everybody I'm not going to close the trade unless we make another higher high, right? So that means I am totally fine, no risk of liquidation at all, because I'm wrong at around 49,300, right? So my stop loss is here, my liquidation is here. You get what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. It's not scary. And here's something else. Now that the trade is open, now that I've locked in a profit on this trade, right? I've already realized on this trade $10,000 on the short trade. If I move my stop loss to my entry, or even if I move my stop loss to its original place, I cannot lose money on this trade. I cannot lose money on this trade. Even if I cranked up the leverage right now to 100x, I could not lose anything on this trade, right? So this is what people don't understand about leverage. This is why it's so weird to me when I hear people that don't trade talk about leverage. Because every YouTuber will have the exchange reach out to them and say, hey, do you want a partner? You know? And they'll say, yeah, well, I don't trade. Don't worry about it. Just make a tutorial and we'll give you 3,000 bucks. All right? Or something stupid like that. So then they Google leverage and they're like, ooh, be careful with that leverage because it'll multiply your risk and your reward. So yeah, you could make a lot of money, but you could lose a lot of money. They don't tell you that that's only if you're a gambler. If you're literally taking the only $100 you have, 100xing it, 10xing it, you're gambling, right? It might go your way, it might not. But if you're using leverage as a tool so you don't have to keep all your money on the exchange, or you want to trade multiple pairs at the same time, what if you want to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Chainlink, and you only have $1,000 in your account, but you want to trade all these pairs at the same time and risk 1% of your $1,000, then you need 5x leverage, right? So it's like, people got it wrong, man. People just don't understand, right? So I am a day trader. I trade on low time frames. I trade on like 6 or 7 trading accounts, and I keep very little capital on my exchanges, right? I keep very little capital on my exchanges, honestly. Like, I try to keep it under 100K at all times. Usually less than 50K, because I don't trust exchanges. So look, for that reason, I'm using high leverage, because even if I'm 25x, 40x, 60x, the trade setups I'm taking, there's no risk for me. I'm risking 1%. All right, sorry guys, I go off on these tangents, man. These leverage tangents, because it's so funny when I hear people say, oh, it's so funny. Even when I go on these trading shows, like on Trading Wars, they're like, what leverage are you using? As if like the higher the leverage, the more risky. I mean, if you're gambling, it is, but people just don't understand what leverage is, man. They don't understand what leverage is. All right, let's see. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Am I KYC on MEXC? No, I'm not, but I am going to get my Palau, I don't know how to say it, ID. And I'm going to get my digital ID, and I'm going to start trading on Bybit again in 2024. Long at 42.100 or 41.8. It could honestly be either one, man. It could honestly be either one. All right. Shout out to Dylan Waves. It's basically you taking a loan. Yeah, leverage is you taking a loan, right? It's you taking a loan. That's exactly what it is. But just like when you pay off your credit card, just because you have a credit card doesn't mean you go buy a Lamborghini when you don't have the actual cash to pay that back. Right? Personally, for me, I don't know about y'all, but I don't buy anything on a credit card unless I already have the cash to pay it back. And our system is so messed up where a lot of times you can't even buy stuff. It's cheaper for you to finance it. I tried to buy a car in cash a while ago. I bought the old year model, right? My family's growing. We need to get a minivan, but I refuse to get a minivan because of the guys don't know this, but if you're over 30 and you get a minivan, it lowers your testosterone, makes you go bald, and you get the beer gut immediately. So we bought a Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Basically a minivan, but it says Jeep on it, so it protects you from the bald and the fat and all that. And I walked in there. I said, hey, I'll give you guys cash for it. And they said, no. I tried to make a deal with them. They're like, no, we get paid more if you finance it because the bank will give us money. Extra money. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, they wouldn't even take cash. I'm like, let me give you a deal. I tried to lowball them. I'm like, look, I'll pay you right now. I'll write you a check. They're like, nah. I'm like, really? Yeah, they get money from the bank when you finance that thing. Yeah, I refuse to have a minivan, guys. Like, I for my wife's sake, we looked at a few, and I'm like, I can't let this happen. And then, by the grace of God, at one of the minivan dealers, they had a like the old year model Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and the sun came down upon that thing. Oh, and I knew it was meant to be. All right, it's not a minivan. All right, guys, it's been a good stream. All right, you guys are amazing. I love all of you. God bless you. May the Lord bless you. May He protect you. May He shine light upon you. May He have grace upon you. And may the Lord turn His face towards you and give you shalom in Jesus' name. Even if you're not religious, I still pray everybody is super blessed. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. All right, peace.